Hello, I'm Chris. Welcome back to Marine Corner, and this is week 5 of Cornered by Books. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're having a good week. Sorry it's a bit delayed, this one, because of being away, and it was also my birthday. I am now, as much as I try and say I'm 36, I am actually 38 years old, born on August 31st, so the end of August. Also been away, so spent one night near Glasgow. I think the bridge of something, I can't remember exactly where, but in like a little, it was like a pub, but it was also a hotel. But it was, we were only there one night, but we found a really nice restaurant down the road called Amaretto. Sold a really nice garlic bread with like goat's cheese and pesto and sun-dried tomatoes. And then we had some mussels between us as well as the garlic bread, and she had risotto and I had calzone, but I didn't finish my calzone, so I took it away. I thought I would. I was definitely attempting to anyway. That was nice. And then went on the Friday went to Loch Rannoch, which was lovely. We was it was like a house with a garden room next to it. We were in the garden room, and it was like across the road, in the garden, they had like bird feeders, so you could see all sorts of different birds, and like jays and nuthatches, robins, all different birds. It was so nice to be there and away. It was lovely. It was so relaxing. And then we went into Aberfeldy while we were there, and we had a bit of a wander and stuff like that, a bit of a walk and different things really. So it was nice. What else? Oh yeah, on my birthday went to Aberfeldy where we had cake and toasties, which was nice, and I had mocha. That's my usually go-to coffee drink, or cappuccino. So it was nice, and then went to Portmaddock where it was more of a chill thing, just didn't really do much, didn't really want to, just enjoyed being in each other's company, chilling, reading, watching. We didn't really watch anything, I don't know why I said that. We started watching Outer Banks that we've been watching, but we give up with it because we both wanted to read our books instead. Just chilled out really. Went to Cricketh one day for an ice cream, and one day went to, I can't think of the name of it, Portmaddock we went to, in just the town centre, found a place for breakfast a couple of times. Last year we went, about the same time this year, we went and we went Break Times, it's called. It's a really nice cafe, it's just a really nice breakfast, so we went there for breakfast. So yeah, it's just been a nice time. I did pick up a couple of books, picked up 3, which I think, given I wasn't trying to buy anything, is quite a good number of books, given the amount of bookshops I went to, / charity shops. I only went 3 or 4 charity shops. Didn't really buy anything in the charity shops, but I did buy something in a couple of bookshops. But I'll talk about that in a minute. I'm just going to go through what I got for my birthday. I didn't get... I'm of an age now where I didn't get so much. That sounds a bit, but it's not like you get toys when you're a kid. I mean, it's socks and underwear I got. I mean, my underwear is really cool, but it's like Star Trek underwear and from Oddballs and stuff like that. But I did get a pair of Adidas trainers off my mum and a couple of nice polo shirts to wear as well. So, and then I got a nice hoodie which I'm going to show because I really want to show off the hoodie. I can show it the right way. So it's on the front, it's got Boys Get Sad Too. It's like a mental health, like men talking about the mental health, and it's got lemons all over it, which my partner calls me a bit of a lemon at times, so I think it's quite apt. So that's that. Bookshops I'll go through once I show you my last birthday thing I want to show, which is a book. It's You Are a Badass How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life by Jen Sincero. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly or not. But yeah, it seems really interesting. You Are a Badass. It is the self-help book for people who desperately want to improve their lives but don't want to get busted doing it. In this refreshingly entertaining how-to guide, best-selling author and world-travelling success coach Jen Sincero serves up 27 bite-sized chapters full of hilariously inspiring stories, sage advice, easy exercises, and the occasional swear word helping you to identify and change the self-sabotaging beliefs and behaviours that stop you from getting what you want. Create a life you totally love and create it now. Make some damn money already, the kind you've never made before. By the end of You Are a Badass, you'll understand why you are how you are, how to love what you can't change, how to change what you don't love, and how to use the force to kick some serious ass. So that sounds really good, and it's got like my partner's written into it, so I thought that was cool as well, because I can't get rid of books that people give me, but when they've written in it as well, that makes it a lot more, personal. So that's that. So that's going to go on my... I've got a list of books that I'm going to be reading next, which I'm going to go through shortly. That's going to go on there. Anything that I bought is on that list, so that's that. And then, so where do we go? We didn't go any bookshops in Glasgow because we got there late, and then it was like just get something to eat and chill out. In Loch Rannoch, we went to Aberfeldy, and there was one bookshop, but it was like everything was brand new, which, to be honest with you, if they'd have had the book I was looking for, I would have bought it. Or if they'd have had, I was looking for this book I did get from a different bookshop, and then I was looking for like Mario Vargas Llosa, I was looking for War and Peace and stuff like that, really. So, but the book I was looking for was 100 Years of Solitude by Gabriel Garcia Marquez. So my partner got a postcard, and it had like Aberfeldy, but it clearly had like more of a town nearby. So I was like, there must be other shops here, and we found this bookshop called Oakholm Books, or Oakholm Books, or something like Oakholm. So we found that, and then I was like, well, I'm going to have a look for this book, and it was £3.50. So I was looking for it in Waterstones. We went somewhere in Waterstones, Aviemore. We went Waterstones in Aviemore, and I was looking for it there. They didn't have it. They had another one by him. What was it called? Loving the Time of Cholera. But this was the one I wanted. So we found it in Oakholm Books, so I picked it up for £3.50. It says, Gabriel Garcia Marquez's great masterpiece is the story of 7 generations of the Buenia family of Macondo, the town they have built. Though little more than a settlement surrounded by mountains, Macondo has its wars and disasters, even its wonders and miracles, a microcosm of Columbia life. Its secrets lie hidden, encoded in a book, and only Aureliano Buendia can fathom its mysteries and reveal its shrouded destiny, blending political reality with magic realism, fantasy with comic invention. 100 Years of Solitude is one of the most daringly original works of the 20th century. So it sounds really interesting. So yeah, these are the books I'm reading next. Anything I got on holiday is what I'm reading next, basically. So You Are a Badass and 100 Years of Solitude. And then where else did we go? Oh, on the way home from on the way to Wales from Scotland, there was a bookshop in a train station called the Old Station in Pitlochry, and it was like a bookshop, and it was run by like volunteers, and it had like, I think most books were £1. Then if it was modernish, it was £2, and if it was really current, it was £3. So I was looking for like, they had a copy of War and Peace, but I didn't like the edition it was. I'm after like a Black Spine Penguin, if possible, or something along them lines. But I think it said something about BBC adapted, and I thought, I'm not really into movie covers, so I'll keep an eye out for War and Peace. So I decided, I was stumbling between Grapes of Wrath or East of Eden or The Shipping News by Annie Proulx, which I've already read before, so I decided to go for a Steinbeck. I did read Mice and Men in school, and I have got it to reread because I feel like I need to reread it under, not under the strict regimen of forced reading. So I decided to get, and I preferred, the Grapes of Wrath was a modern classics edition like that kind of edition, but I kind of like this edition a bit more of Steinbeck, so I went for this one, East of Eden. It was £1. I could have got about 5 books in there. I fancied, like, there was a Will Self one I think I should have got really, but I wasn't sure where to start with Will Self. Then there was one about Cuba or something. Then I should have probably got Grapes of Wrath as well. But I'm trying not to get like too many authors. Like if I'm not I'm not going to get Life in the Death, the other book I saw, because I want to read that one first. So, and Of Mice and Men I've read, so it's just like reread. So this says California's fertile Salinas Valley is home to 2 families whose destinies are fruitfully and fatally intertwined. Over the generations between the beginning of the 20th century and the end of the First World War, the Trasks and the Hamiltons will helplessly replay the fall of Adam and Eve and the murderous rivalry of Cain and Abel. So it sounds really good, although it seems quite thick. But yeah, just trying to broaden my horizons a bit. And then I'm trying to think. Yeah, so then in Portmarnock I didn't see any books, and then on the last day there's a bookshop in Penmamar, which is called Escape Reality, which it was a weird shop. It was like 2 buildings next to each other. Well, 2 buildings next to each other. One had like non-fiction, and then the other side had fiction. But it had just like a door with a hole to post your money through, an honesty box. So there was nothing. There's a couple of non-fiction things I fancied. One about the Berlin Wall and one by Peter Hook about the Hacienda. But I thought, I want to find stuff I want to read. And this is a book I wanted to read. And it's in one of my favourite editions, as you'll see with some of the books I'm going to go through in a minute. It's Crime and Punishment by Fyodor, I can never pronounce his name, Dostoevsky. But yeah, it's in a vintage classic, which is my favourite edition, and couldn't resist. It was only £2 as well. So I got a book £3.50, £2, £1, so that's £6.50 for 3 books. Is that right? 6. Yeah, £6.50. So yeah, Crime and Punishment. Wanted it anyway, and vintage. So, but again, I could have got probably more from that shop as well. But because I've got so many books I'm trying to read, I don't want to keep getting loads of books, because like I say, these 4, these 4 and another one I'm going to show are the 5 that I own that I want to read. So So this one says, a troubled young man commits the perfect crime. The murder of a vile pawnbroker no one will miss. Raskolnikov is desperate for money but convinced himself that his motive for the killing is to benefit mankind. So begins one of the greatest novels ever written, a journey into the criminal mind, a police thriller, and a philosophical meditation on morality and redemption. Another thick one, but one I wanted to read for a while. And you'll see more of that after as well, because that's going there. So they're going to be my next three books, along with some other ones from the library I've pulled. Probably some I've talked about before. So that's what I picked up, and my birthday and what I've been up to. This video is going longer than I thought, so I'm not looking at my list and I'm only on my third item. Although actually my list isn't that long, the bottom bit's not a list. So next up, what did I read? So before I went, I was saying I was reading Stoner. I took Stoner with me because I didn't quite finish it. So I did finish it in Glasgow, by John Williams. I love this book. I read another John Williams book, and I think I'm going to do a bit of comparison on the two in a minute. That's a bit of a spoiler. But yeah, I think this is great. I think you're reading about a man, and he comes from a farming family, and then he goes to university to learn about agriculture, and then becomes an English major, and then becomes a teacher. But it's not just that straightforward. I think there's a bit of sadness to it and a bit of other things to it that I think, I don't know, I really feel for William Stoner. So that's that. But yeah, it's one of my favourite books. That I've read it 3 times read it twice last year and once this year. And then next up, I read, I don't know if I need to say any more about it because I love this book. I might do a full review on it. Then next up, this one I enjoyed. It's called Granite. It's a crime one, but it's got children being murdered, which really didn't sit well with me. But I kind of, because it was fiction, I could kind of read it. I think what helped was when they weren't talking about that, there was quite a bit of joviality between the characters, and you kind of got on with the characters a bit because of it. And I did laugh reading it because I found some of the dialects was funny, and the back and forth between some of the characters. It's Logan McRae is the main character in it, and you read, and it is good. And I didn't, to be honest, I was enjoying the book that much that I never actually bothered who did it. And I was bothered at the end of the book, but up to that point, I was just enjoying it as a novel. The reason I took this was by a Scottish author, and I wanted to Scottish to read. I didn't fancy reading Ian Rankin. I'd read one by him. I'd also read Sawbones by Stuart McBride, but because my mate gave me Dying Light, the second one, so that's why I decided to take that. So yeah, it's hard to read because of the children murders, but I found when they're not talking about that, and when there's that. When it's funny, it's funny. So yeah, I'd carry on with it. I want to carry on with them. So that's that. And then I decided then to read Notes from Underground by Fyodor Dostoevsky. It's been on my list for a while to read. I find it quite a strange read, really, because the first one's all about quite philosophical. And then there seems to be more of a story in part 2. But I enjoyed it. I feel like I need to reread it though. I feel like it's one of them that needs to be done on a reread. So yeah, not sure what I think about that, but I did enjoy it. I just feel like it'll read better on a reread. I didn't actually plan to start this book. I did start another book, but I'll tell you that story in a minute. So I did end up reading Butcher's Crossing by John Williams, which I knew I would. It was high on my list for one of the ones I wanted to read. So yeah, I finished it. I found it quite interesting that both John Williams' characters are called William. The guy in this is called William... What does it say? Will Andrews. So there's Will Andrews and William Stoner. I like Will Andrews, but I felt like Will Andrews was more going on an adventure that he had no choice to. And I feel like there's a bit more humanity to William Stoner. I felt like I was more invested in what William Stoner was doing, whereas I felt that was more... Miller was a kind of... To me, Miller was more of an interesting character than Will... I was more invested in how Miller was doing than Will Andrews. So if it was me, I know a lot of people like this more than that, but for me it's that over that. But yeah, I want to reread that and I want to reread that. Reading that made me want to reread that again this year. And that's not off the table, because I love that book. I'm just going to put them on my book haul books, so I've got a bit more room. So yeah, but yeah, it's really interesting. It's about, Butcher's Crossing is about a guy who goes, Will Andrews goes and wants to go on a hunt for buffalo skins, and it's kind of that story. He meets a man called Miller, and then Miller and his friend, I can't remember what his friend's called now, Charlie, and the skin are called Schneider as well. So it's really good, really good. I just prefer Stoner. I just think William Stoner just has a lot more... I feel a lot more for William Stoner than I do for Will Andrews. That's just me, I don't know. That's just how I felt about the book. And then finally, I didn't finish this in Wales, but I started in Wales and finished it when we got back yesterday. The Crying of Lot 49. I absolutely love this book. It is so satirical. It's about a woman who becomes... I can't remember the word now. Like, she becomes like... executor, like of somebody's will, and it's just a bit of a crazy story, but it's one I love. And to be honest with you, out of all the authors, obviously I got Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, but yeah, I really want to read Augustus by John Williams and V by Thomas Pynchon, because they were just two authors I enjoy. Although Stuart McBride, excuse me, but I have books by Stuart McBride. I have now books by Dostoevsky. I do have a Pynchon novel, but I just fancied V. So, this is a question I want to ask as well. So, I decided to start this book on holiday. This isn't the copy I started. Mr. Nice by Howard Marks. Quite interestingly, I was in Wales at the time, so I took a Scottish book on purpose to read in Scotland, which I did. I didn't realise that this guy was Welsh. I just presumed he was American or English, but no, he's Welsh. So that was quite a coincidence. However, there's some photo pages in here, just like my edition had. My edition is now in the bin. I was like, oh, well, I wonder what about halfway in this book is, because I'm about 200 pages in. So that says 230. that says 231. In my copy, it didn't. It said 279. And I thought, well, that's strange. And then I got to 326 and thought, oh, it'll start. Maybe them pages are behind here now. No, it went back to 279. So 279 to 326 are duplicated. So luckily I had this copy as well available. So I've carried on starting with this now, and I had 2 chapters left on holiday, and I was like, I can't read it anymore because I want to finish it. So I decided to pick something else up. So I'm on chapter 9. So I'm 215 pages in that. So I want to carry on with that. So that's what I'm currently reading now. It's about Howard Marks, who was dealing hashish and marijuana across the globe. Really interesting story. But like I said, I didn't take it because he was Welsh. But yeah, it was a lucky one. So yeah, on my next reads, I'm just going to fly through these quickly because I don't want to talk too much. So obviously I've got You're a Badass, 100 Years of Solitude, East of Eden, Crime and Punishment. Right, so on holiday I managed to read, I would have probably finished Mr. Nice and started Butcher's Crossing and maybe got to Crying a Lot 49. However, I'm still reading Mr. Nice because of the page thing. I did take Wolf Hall. I didn't get to Wolf Hall. It's the only book I didn't actually open on holiday to read. The rest I either started, finished, or I'm still reading. Only one. So I did well on my holiday reads. So that is going on the pile with Crime and Punishment, East of Eden, 100 Years of Solitude, You're a Badass. So that's that. I also picked out, I am going to go with that. Right? I'm going to go with 5 books now from the library. So first off, I'm not going to talk too much about these because it's getting quite long. Confidence by Roxy Nafusi. I already started this on audiobook but ran out of hours. So I've got this on library books. So I've got You're a Badass and Conference. I'm hoping both will help. Right? Then I fancied reading Solenoid by Mercia Cartarescu. I really fancy reading this. I don't know why. This one looks like quite a chunker. I'm not sure I'm going to get to these at all, but I'm just picking books I fancy reading. I Heard You Paint Houses by Charles Brandt. Really want to get to that. I just didn't take any library books, otherwise I would have definitely took that away with me. I would have definitely took this, Fury by Cleo Mendoza, or Cleo, I'm not sure. I think she's Mexican. And then finally, one I really fancy reading, and although, given the size of it, doesn't look like a heavy read, it's The Creative Act by Rick Rubin. Rick Rubin is a producer of music like System of a Down and stuff like that. He was the one who told Serge Tankian to get the lyrics for Chop Suey out of a book. So yeah, fancy reading that as well. But like I say, I'm struggling to read library books when I have so many books I actually want to read. So that's what I'm planning on working next. But like I say, Wolf Hall's probably my next one, just because that was the holiday book I didn't get to, or maybe Confidence. But I don't know. I feel like they need to be the next books. Wolf Hall, East of Eden, 100 Years of Solitude, and You're a Badass and Crime and Punishment. So that's what I'm planning on reading next. Okay, so while I was away, I was thinking about a few challenges. And I thought, I've got a lot of books. I don't want to make that sound like I'm bragging. I'm not proud that I've got unread books on my shelves at all. I think, I'm ashamed by it sometimes, especially some of the stuff I've not read. So I decided to do a few challenges, and I didn't want to set a challenge and then go, right, you've got to go out and buy books. And I'm including library books in this as well, so it's not exactly like, but I've made notes on my phone for all the states in America, so I'm working through them. So far, I've read Texas with John Williams, and with Thomas Pynchon, I've read someone from New York. But I'm just listing them, so it doesn't, I'm not going to go, oh, I can't read that because I've already read a New York author. No, I'm adding to it as I go. I've also decided to read books from Europe, so I've split up the UK into England, Ireland, Scotland and Wales, and Northern Ireland. So I've read, when I finish Mr. Nice, I'll have read a Welsh author. When I've read Stuart McBride, I've read Stuart McBride, so I've read a Scottish author. When I've read Wolf Hall, I've read an English author, So it's European. I also read Dostoevsky, so I read a Russian author. I decided to do South American books. So when I read 100 Years of Solitude, that's a Colombian read. When I read Fiore, that's a Mexican author, So I've decided to do that, but I'm not buying books to do it. Well, I will do once I've ran out of countries or states, I'll start picking things up. I'm going to include rereading on that because I include Stoner in it. Well, Stoner was new to me anyway. I read the library book. And also South America and Asia. So I just thought it'd be interesting to do, just see how long it takes me. And then my partner said, I think you should read 52 of your books off the library. So luckily for me, these all count. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, I think. Well, once I finish that, which inevitably I will do. So that's that. Oh, sugar, I'm covering my list now. So that's my plan. And then I also have a to be read by death list. I only have 5 of the books currently that I've put down as books. I like the fact that I've not written... I feel like I like the fact that I've not written 10 books down. I've not got 10 books that I own, because it gives me something to look for when I'm out and about. So obviously on my list is Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky, which worked out well because I didn't look at my list beforehand. I weren't sure if it was War and Peace on my list or Crime and Punishment, so that's that. Next up is Foucault's Pendulum. I read Name of the Rose, which I really enjoyed this year. So I picked this up in an antique shop. So I can't wait to read that. I did see another Umberto Eco when I went in today, but I can't remember what it was called. No, it's not named in there. I can't think what it was called. It was a similar edition to that though. And then this is Miller Pynchon, Gravity's Rainbow. I got this with any other purchase for £3. It's 902 pages, but again, vintage edition, same as Fyodor Dostoevsky. I decided to go for Mikhail Bulgakov, The Master and the Margarita. I think this has an introduction by Will Self, it does. So that's pretty cool. It's a vintage. So out to my to be read before death list. I own 3 of them in vintage. And then I've got Trieste by Dostoevsky. I just decided to pick this up. This is supposed to be quite a hard novel to read. Yeah. Because there's a bit where there's a lot of names in it. I'm not quite sure what the names are till I read it, but 9,000 Jews who were deported from Italy or killed in Italy in the countries Italy occupied between 1943 and 1945. Wow, that's quite sad to see. That's very sad to see. So that's Trieste that I want to read. And then, so on my list as well, James Joyce's Ulysses, W.G. Sebald, Austerlitz, Vladimir Nabokov, Pale Fire, Fernando Pessoa, The Book of Disquiet, and then Herman Melville's Moby Dick. So it gives me like 5 books to look. I feel like I've got more chance of picking Nabokov up and maybe James Joyce and Herman Melville. But yeah, I'm glad I got 5 of them so far, so I can be working on them. And like I say, Crime and Punishment's added to the list just because it's a recent pickup. I've still got books on the go. Now I'm back on holiday. I think to be honest with you, I think short stories are going to start seeing more, and Noam Chomsky are going to start seeing more. As I start studying more, I think they're going to come out more. Yeah. While I'm studying, so I've got something I can, when I'm finished studying, I can just go and take myself away. Also, I thought I'd show off the new TLS. I've not opened this at all, but this is the new TLS. Yeah, it's a longer edition. I'm not sure if it says September 5th, so I've not started it yet, so I think I'll probably try and sit and read some of that later on. Yeah, so that's that. I've still got, like I say, I've got quite a few books on the go. Still listening to Flea, Acid for the Children, which I was going to listen to yesterday, once I got back, or when was I going to listen to it? Oh no, I was going to listen to it this morning when I went picking my son up from seeing my son today. So I thought I'd listen to that, but didn't listen to that. So I'm going to save that for work tomorrow, at Monday. Going to listen to that, and then I've got a few other videos I want to catch up on. So that's that, but I'll finish that. Yeah, I'm hoping to, I think I've got 9 chapters left, so I'm hoping for 3 tonight. Maybe not 3 tonight now, but maybe 4 tomorrow and 4 on Monday. It's about, well, it's midnight gone now. So yeah, I'm going to go and sit down and read that for a bit. So yeah, anyway, I will see you probably on Friday. Hopefully I'll have finished Mr. Nice and maybe started something else off my list. We'll see. Anyway, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.